Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mabi and I'm here to talk about Gears Tactics. Is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? I'm going to give you my personal opinion on it after playing a couple of hours. So this game releases on the 28th of April 2020 and this is a spin-off series rather than the basic Gears where it's full-on action-packed, over-the-shoulder shooting, slicing up enemies. This is more of a toned down, over the head, turn-based, kind of turn-based, tactical, where you're moving characters around with action points, getting people to permadie and then going after missions. It's going to be very interesting. So before I delve super crazy into it, I want to thank Microsoft for getting me an early access key to this. Even though I did get it for free, remember all of this is my own opinions. Now, one thing that surprised me was, usually I thought this game was going to be like a Windows PC exclusive platform or just on the Xbox, but no, you're actually able to download it from the Steam client. However, once you do download it and you jump into it, you do have to log in with a Microsoft account, but that's not a problem at all. So, I'm very, very happy to say that this is going to be on Steam. A lot more people are going to get eyes on it. And of course, you can see all the reviews on there. And if you're wondering, all of the footage you are seeing today is taken straight from my Let's Play channel. I already started it. I recorded a couple of episodes already. I have a lot ready to go. So if you want to check that out, there's a link down below to the MabiVsGames VOD channel. That's where all the Let's Plays go. Anyways, let's get started. So if you're interested about the story of this particular game, it takes place, I think it's pretty much a prequel, right? Because it takes place 12 years before the first Gears War. You are playing as a character named Gabe Diaz. And long story short, you end up having to go on this big, long-winded mission inside of your Batmobile, moving all over the world, recruiting other Gears members, and you're trying to hunt down the leader of the Locust, and his name is Ukkon. A lot of twists and turns happens, but that's the gist of it. Now, story aside, the biggest thing that people want to know is the gameplay. Of course, there's no getting around it. There is no getting around it. It is a tactical combat, and it's going to be compared heavily to XCOM. It's a sci-fi setting. There's a ton of cinematic kills, and it just looks like it. If you have, to the untrained eye, if you put these two close together, people and you show people who don't even know the franchises, they'll think it's the same game. So, how is it? Is it worth it? Does it stand out on its own? Well, after playing for a bit, I would have to say my overall impressions is that this is a really good game. Now, I'm going to explain some of the mechanics. A lot of it ties into the Gear series, so a lot of people will appreciate that. So as you go on these missions, you usually deploy 1 to 4 people depending on the mission type, and you have different classes. For instance, the main character, Gabe Diaz, he is a support class. He likes to support characters via healing them, giving them action points, etc. There is a side character which you get right away. His name is Sid. He is a vanguard character, and as you play and you choose these classes, you are able to go down a skill tree and actually choose different types of character traits that they can have. For instance, Sid, who is the vanguard, you can make him more of a demolitionist, where he's really good at nades and the cooldowns on nades are reduced, or you can turn him into a big old tank where he haunts enemies out of corners, intimidates them to have them lose all their buffs and so on. Some of the other classes are a sniper class, there's a scout class, there is a heavy class, and so on. So if you're interested about mission goals, it's it kind of varies. It could be like from getting to one part of the map to another part. You have to get to these areas before a time limit. You have to fend off waves for a certain time. You have to pick these guys off in order, defeat a boss, etc. So that's pretty basic. Let's get into more of the mechanic portion. So as you jump in, it's going to be your turn, then the enemy's turn, meaning you move all of your people, and then they move all of their people. It's not one person, one person, one person. So how this works is every character you have starts with 3 AP, which is action points. With action points, you can shoot with your main gun, you can use your secondary gun, you can throw different types of nades. There's a frag grenade, which is AoE damage. There's a stim grenade, which does, AoE heal damage, but watch out because you can heal the enemies too. So you can pretty much, use your lancers, you can switch out to different guns, and basically you have 3 main branches of skills. So it's your main gun, and depending on what class you have, you can just do a regular shot. You can overwatch, which means you actually look in the area you're going, and if an enemy moves in it, you get a shot off and all that stuff. You can also switch to your secondary gun, which has better aim for longer range, but it is weaker, and you have disruptive shots. And then you have, like I said, the frag grenade, which you can like plant down and everything like that. Now, I'll give you some specific examples of some of these character classes. So if you choose the scout class, not only do you have the ability to, to do all the basic stuff like shoot and throw grenades, but the scout class can, go invisible, move past enemies' overwatches, and pretty much get up close and attack them from that way. What people are really gonna like about this game is you can recover action points really fast if you do specific things. When you knock out an enemy, sometimes they don't die right away. Sometimes they bleed out, they're wounded, and it's gonna take one more turn to kill them. Anyone can do this. You can execute them by walking up, and you either, stab them with your lancer, or you punch them down to death. Every other character on your screen, well, pretty much every single ally you have gets one more action point to move around, go in cover, to overwatch. So it really has a good strategic factor there, where you're trying to be like, well, this guy is about to die. He is in the middle of someone's overwatch, but maybe this other person who's across the map, if they take this guy out, wound him, then these two guys can deal with this factor by the guy not in the overwatch disrupting him. Then the guy in the overwatch can finally move and take him out. So there's a lot to do there, which is really awesome. There are two types of units. You have your heroes, which is like your Gabe Diaz, your Sid, and other main story people throughout the game, which pretty much you have to keep alive if you bring them in. And then you have the troops, and this is where more of the XCOM-y thing comes in. They are randomized troops. Depending on how far you are in the game, there are going to be certain levels, but basically you can be like, okay, in between, acts and missions, they will tell you, okay, we have a scout to recruit, or you have a heavy to recruit. So you can bring them in, you can increase your roster, and you can customize them. You can change their hair, you can change their suit color, you can give them mustaches, and you can change their names. Yes, of course. So you can play the mission, and if a hero dies, you pretty much have to restart the mission. But if a troop dies, you can restart to try to keep them alive, or they are permadeath. So that's pretty awesome. I believe there's 4 difficulty settings. There might be more if you beat the game, but I'm not sure. There's an easy, normal, hard, and like a nightmare mode, and there's an Iron Man mode where you cannot restart at all. I've just played the regular mode so we can get through it and check all the mechanics. So that's pretty awesome. So let me talk about the progression after the missions, and this is where I have a little bit of like it's a little bit weird how they did it. So after a mission, everyone gets a little bit of experience, but you get way more experience, like an insane amount of experience the more kills you have. And I find that a little weird, because what if I wanted a character who uses AP on solely healing? Like, I want to throw a nade here, I want to buff this guy here. That character is not going to get a lot of experience. So it really prioritizes and incentivizes you to just pretty much share the experience. So if a guy's about to die, switch over to one of your weaker characters and pick them off to get experience. So it kind of sucks, but I would love it if... I guess what they're trying to do is stop people from spamming skills in order to just level up. So I guess that makes sense, but I would have loved it if I can get a little bit of experience for primarily being a healer. So the maps are pretty nice. Of course, you have lots of areas where you can run to and duck, just like in Gears. You can go up ladders. There's lots of chests and loot all over the place. And oh my god, speaking of the loot that you can find, it's really fun, because every mission you have optional things before you start. Like, okay, if you beat this mission, it tells you you are going to get 3 like common regular like weapon mechanic loot boxes. But then if you do this optional where you don't take any damage during your turn, you can get hit during an enemy's turn, but if you don't get hit during your turn, you are going to get a rare loot box. Yes, loot boxes. Now, as far as I can tell, there are no microtransactions in the game. At least nothing has unlocked yet. But pretty much it acts as a reward, and you get different weapon mechanics. Like maybe you get a different barrel for your gun, which gives you more damage, more accuracy, more magazine up, and then you get different armor slots, like your head slot and your chest slot, and they give you abilities. There's one where I think it's a chest plate. It gives you like 15 HP, and then it has an ability attached to it called Blitz, meaning if you don't attack during that round, next round you have 30% chance of getting an extra AP. So there's a lot of strategic things to going on there. So like I said, there's going to be chapters and acts, and then there's going to be side missions. Now, word of advice, if you're trying to level up your characters and you really want to take this thing seriously, don't skip any side missions, because pretty much once you get to a certain point in your main story, you're going to be pretty much skipping missions. So you cannot do like a one mission and then you have some side quests. You're like, oh, I'm gonna do another mission before I do a side quest. Sometimes it goes away, so do all the side quests ASAP as you can. All right. So by the way, this game graphics, they are gorgeous. They look really, really good. Smooth as FPS, no FPS drops. It runs really well on my PC, but it does take a huge toll on GPU. Man, this thing is crazy hot. So I did turn down the graphics from Ultra, and it still looks pretty good after all. This is more tactical. I'm not really worried about the graphics. So presentation is top notch. This is big AAA. The UI and menus are very smooth and intuitive. I have not tried yet playing with a Xbox controller. Keyboard and mouse is really good. You're going to be using the F keys, the number keys, WASD to move around. You can move the whole camera around. It's fast paced and it looks good. It feels so smooth. And there's also really good quality of life features. For example, after you shoot your guns, you have to reload, right? But after, there's going to be more missions on the map as you're going to be moving around. If you finish one tiny checkpoint on the map, the game automatically reloads all your stuff, which is good. I love how they did that. But there are some other weird things, like when swapping weapon mods and armors before you go onto a mission. So you can choose ones that you don't have on. It says you don't have this equipped, so you can put those on. But then if you go down, it says, okay, these other characters have this equipped. Do you want to swap them out? It doesn't tell you who the heck has it equipped. So you're going to be swapping from people. You're like, oh, who the hell wore this? It doesn't freaking show. So that's a little annoying. But other than that, this is a overall solid package. I'm having a lot of fun with this game. I am going to be continuing to play, and yes, I recommend this. If you are a fan of XCOM, this will just give you another game to play with different mechanics and so on. If you're a Gears fan, but you don't want to play tactics, oh man, I don't know. It's a really good game. You should really give it a chance and try it if you're not much of a tactical person. You're more of a crazy FPS guy. Test it out. It's gonna be good. Now, as I said before, all footage that you are seeing is taken straight from our Let's Play channel. Come on by. There's a link down below. We are going through all the missions and having fun. And join us in the Twitch and Discord live stream. There's a link down below. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.